Hi guys, how's it going? I love the kids so much. They're so awesome. I guess that's why I want to be a teacher. I just love kids so much. Oh, I just love them. I just want to squeeze them all. Okay. So, did you guys have a good weekend? Yes. So, what's the thing we was like celebrating this weekend? What do you think? Memorial Day. Freedom. Freedom. Woo! So that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. It's freedom. Freedom. All right, so in Galatians 5:1, and I want you guys to repeat after me so you don't have to look it up. Okay, so it is for freedom. Y'all can do better than that. Okay, come on. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm and do not let yourself be burdened by a yoke of slavery. Right, so that's the verse I'm going to be going around tonight. So I realized a lot of my freedoms has been taken away, or I've allowed someone to even take them. Even you guys, like I'm sure we've allowed some of our freedoms to go away from us. And I know that God has taught me and you guys that His Word and that those voices, sometimes they get into our head. Those little voices like taking our freedoms away. And people telling me things that we're not, and people saying like that things. All right, so people telling me things that were not really in the Bible, but it still affects you. So if people are saying that, oh, this is in the Bible, like you see stuff on Facebook all the time, and you start, and you're like, oh, yeah, and then you'll share it, and then you look back at it, and you're like, that's not right. That's not in my Bible. I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, that's like an awesome tool for devils. Like, this is from the Bible. Yeah, you know? I mean, we have to really look at that kind of stuff. Even though you know it's not biblical, even though you know it's not in there, you let it affect you sometimes because you didn't realize that that's really not in the Bible. And you give into it for a minute. But unlike Paul, you start listening to it because it came from prominent people, important people, like people say it like movie stars will say it, or actresses, or famous people, or even like your teachers at school, like all these big people that we put in our mind, they're the ones that are saying it, so we start like, you start thinking about it, but and Paul's saying it don't matter because we only believe the stuff that comes really from God. And I'm realizing that a lot of things that I do, I'm unsure of, not because of the Word of God, it's because I hear all these different voices, all these different things like, oh, this is right. And it makes you kind of unsure about yourself. You believe in God and you believe in His Word, but you hear all this different stuff, you're like, you hear all this stuff from Facebook and news, even the news, the gossip, all this stuff, the media, and they're trying to rob me of my freedoms. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to rob me of them. And they're trying to make me slaves to those things. And then I'm not supposed to be enslaved to. But Christ has set me free from those things. And they set us free from those things. You don't even have to worry about it. So some of us grew up in churches and learned about freedom in Christ. But you maybe still have doubts. You learned about freedom in Christ, but you still have in back of your head, you think of all the things that you've done, all the bad things that you've done, and all the things that maybe no one even knows about that you've done. And there are those things that we did, and even after we became Christians, that in the back of your head when you think about, I've got freedom in Christ, I'm free, but then you think of all those things. You think of all the stuff that nobody knows about. And then they haunt you. And so you're like, am I really a Christian? And you want to believe that, yes, I am free, I'm free. If I die today, I'm going straight to heaven. It's the greatest thing in the world. Jesus died on the cross and He rose from the grave, and the chains are free. But sometimes in the back of your head, you're still like, I don't know. I've done all that stuff. So I know that, yes, I want to be like, yes, I'm going to heaven. Yes, yes, yes. But you always have that like, I don't know. So I know some people, they've done some pretty bad things. And some of us They've bought into the lie that some people bought into the lie like, if you're good, you're a good person, you're going to heaven. You're a good person, you're a good person, you're going to heaven. In fact, we're all good people and we're all going to heaven. So we're all going to make it heaven. It's going to be great. But in the back of your mind, you're still like, I know the truth about myself. Even though nobody else does, I know the truth. Even that one person that comes to you all the time, oh, you're such a good person, you're such a good person, you're such a good person. And you even say, yeah, I'm a good person. But you know what you've done, and God knows what you've done. That's right. And you wouldn't want it to. So everybody close your eyes for a second. Think of the worst 10 things you've ever done in your life. Now open your eyes, and they're flashed up on the screen. All 10 things are like there. I'm freaking out. I know some of you guys would be like, oh my gosh, that is terrible. But God knows of those things that you've done. But he sets us free of them. That's the best part. And I know who doesn't want that up on there. Everybody doesn't want that on the screen? No? Okay, but he allows us to get free of them. And so those are the things that when you lay down at night that haunt you sometimes, and you're just like, ah. And you know you've been told your whole life that you're good, and then you're told you're good enough, and then sometimes you're told you're not good enough, and you're unsure of what you are, and like everybody's like, you're not good enough, you're not doing that ritual enough, and all this stuff, all the church things, you're like, oh, you're not doing that enough, and you come in here with all that baggage, and you come in here with all that fog and stress, and we all come in here like, oh my gosh, I've got all that baggage and all that stress. I've told you I stress. I know I do. I try not to, but that's just one of the things I struggle with. And God says, I want you to be completely free. Amen. And that's just so awesome. It's like, oh, that sounds so amazing to me. Get to be completely free. Oh, it sounds so good. Just makes me want to jump up and down. So, and I want you guys to be totally free and understand that grace it's grace. Grace and forgiveness. But sometimes we struggle with that, because I've struggled with it too, believing in the complete freedom because of the cross and what Jesus has done on that cross. And I'm here to tell you to get rid of all those voices in your head and all those stress and all that sin and all those little voices, the actresses and all the movie stars, and saying, and trying to fog up your brain. But we're free. Amen. We're free of all that. And you know why? Because God's the creator, and he's the creator of the earth. And he came down as human form, and he got his body, and he broke all to pieces for all of us. So we can be free. And we're free because of the blood of Jesus. And he says he switched our places so he can take all that blood and all that terribleness so we can be free. That's crazy. We are free. We don't have to worry about all that other stuff. We don't have to think about all that bad stuff anymore because we're free. Amen. And no one can take that away from us. No one can take that away from us. No one can take that away. So, I know this is a short lesson, but I just want you guys to think of being free. That's all you have to do. Being free. Get rid of all those voices saying that maybe I need to do this to be a Christian, I need to do that to be a Christian. Jesus has set us all free. All those bad stuff in our life, he set us free. So let's just take a minute and push all that fog out, all those burdens, all that stress and all that junk we have right now. Because sometimes when you come to church, you've been through a lot already. You're like, you want to come here and just be able to soak in God and just release everything else. Yes. And that's why I'm allowing you to do it tonight. You can just get rid of all of it. You just go into your own little world and just get rid of all that tonight. All that junk. All that hoarding of all that stress and all that bad stuff in there. We can just push it out our ears and push it out the other way, and it'll be gone. You don't to make more room for him. We can get rid of all the bad stuff. It makes more room for him. So, whenever you're in school and they like just to breathe in and breathe out. You're just letting all that bad stuff in. You breathe in, just breathe it all out, all that crap out. Just breathe in and let it all out. And sometimes I love to do that at home. If I'm just getting stressed out or I'm just having a hard day at work and I'm bringing up people are screaming at me and stuff like that. They're like, my microwave's messed up. I had it for a week. And I'm like, I'm sorry, And I'm just like, hold on a second. Please help me. Keep my calm. Keep all the stress down. All right. Now what do you need? I'll get you a manager. Okay, so you just got to breathe in, let it out. Sometimes we just got to remember that because God gave us the freedom to do that. He gave us the freedom to do all this stuff. We just got to take a second and let it all out. And then we'll feel a lot better. So, I just want to say Galatians 5:1 again. All right, ready? It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm and do not let yourself be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Just let it all go.